What if the thing making you feel broke isn't your bank account? What if it's a number you never actually see, a number you've never calculated, never written down, and never been taught to notice? I spent 6 years chasing that number. I had a business, a decent income, and I still felt poor every single day. It took losing almost everything to figure out why. This isn't a video about budgeting. You already know this moment. It's late. You're tired. You open your phone for 5 minutes, and somehow 40 minutes disappear. Someone you went to high school with just bought a house. Someone you've never met is unboxing a new car. Someone's morning routine includes a kitchen you'll never afford. You close the app. Nothing about your actual life has changed. Your job is the same. Your savings account is the same. But something in your chest is tighter than it was 40 minutes ago. You go to work the next day, and you make a decision, maybe a big one, that you wouldn't have made yesterday. A new card, a new purchase, a new investment you didn't research. Not because you needed it, because something in you needed to catch up. This isn't about being undisciplined. Some of the most disciplined people I know, people who track every dollar, who read the books, who go to church every week, still make financial decisions out of a feeling they can't name. They just call it bad luck or a rough season. It isn't luck, and it isn't a season. It's a number running quietly in the background of almost every decision you make. Here's the misconception almost everyone carries into adulthood. We think financial stress comes from lack. Not enough income, not enough savings, not enough margin. Lack is real, but lack alone doesn't explain why someone earning a comfortable salary can feel more anxious about money than someone earning far less. What actually drives most of our financial anxiety, and most of our worst financial decisions, was comparison. Not comparison as a personality flaw. Comparison as a measuring system we never chose, running constantly, mostly outside our awareness. Think about it this way. Before phones, your comparison set was small. Your street, your family, maybe your co-workers. Now your comparison set is everyone. Every highlight, every "we closed on our first home" post. Every flex disguised as gratitude. You are not just comparing your life to your neighbor anymore. You're comparing your real, full, unedited life to thousands of people's best 5 seconds. Here's the part nobody says out loud. You cannot win a competition you didn't agree to enter, against rules you can't see, using a scoreboard someone else controls. That's the trap. Not overspending, not under-earning. A scoreboard that was never built for your life in the first place. So if comparison is the real driver, the question becomes, is there a better way to measure your life? Turns out this question is almost 2,000 years old. Galatians 6:4 says this: examine your own work, and then you will have reason to be proud of yourself without comparing yourself to someone else. To understand why Paul wrote this, you have to understand who he was writing to. The early churches in Galatia were small, tight-knit communities. Everyone knew everyone's business. Whose harvest was bigger, whose household had more, who seemed more spiritually impressive. Status wasn't abstract there. It was visible, public, and constantly ranked. Much like a feed is today, just slower. Paul isn't telling them to stop working hard. He's not telling them to stop caring about their lives. He's making a precise distinction that we've lost. There is a difference between evaluation and comparison. Evaluation looks at your own work and asks honest questions. Is this sustainable? Is this wise? Am I better with money than I was a year ago? Comparison skips all of that and asks only one question: am I ahead of them? Here's the analogy that made this click for me. Imagine 2 farmers standing at the edge of their fields. One farmer studies his own soil. What's growing? What's failing? What needs more attention next season? The other farmer spends his whole season staring over the fence at his neighbor's field, adjusting his planting based on what he sees over there, never actually studying his own ground. Guess which farmer ends the season confused about why nothing grew the way he expected? That second farmer isn't lazy. He's just measuring the wrong field. And most of us, without realizing it, have been farming our neighbor's life instead of our own. This is what Paul meant by examining your own work. Not ignoring others, not pretending the world doesn't exist, just refusing to let someone else's harvest determine whether yours counts. So here's where this becomes useful, not just true. Step 1. Build your own scoreboard. What it is: a short, written list, 3 to 5 numbers that actually reflect your real financial life. Your savings rate, your debt total, Your monthly margin, not your neighbor's numbers, yours. Why it matters. If you don't define your own scoreboard, your brain will default to the only one in front of it, someone else's. You can't out-discipline a comparison you haven't named. How to start, tonight. Open a notes app and write down 3 numbers that matter to you right now. Not goals, current reality. That's your starting field. Step 2, put a delay between the feeling and the spend. What it is, a 24-hour rule for any non-essential purchase that follows a scroll session, a social moment, or a comparison trigger. Why it matters. Most comparison-driven decisions happen in the heat of the feeling. The urge to catch up rarely survives 24 hours of clear thinking. How to start. The next time you feel that tightness in your chest after seeing someone else's life online, don't buy, don't decide, don't commit. Set a reminder for tomorrow. Revisit it sober. Step 3, replace the feed with feedback. What it is, once a week, instead of scrolling, ask someone you trust one honest question. Where do you think I'm doing well financially? And where am I not thinking clearly? Why it matters. Comparison thrives on imagined information. A curated post you fill in with assumptions. Real feedback replaces imagination with truth. And truth is something you can actually act on. How to start. Pick one person this week. A mentor, a sibling, a friend who won't just tell you what you want to hear. Ask the question directly. None of these steps require more income. They require a different measuring system. That's the part most financial advice skips. I want to ask you something, and I want you to actually sit with it instead of rushing to answer. When was the last time you made a financial decision, big or small, and you can honestly say it had nothing to do with how you wanted to appear to someone else? Not a judgment, a genuine question. And here's a second one. If no one else could see your finances, no comparison, no audience, no scoreboard but your own, would you be making the same choices you're making right now? There's no shame in any answer here. Comparison is built into how most of us were raised, how feeds are designed, how status quietly gets attached to worth. You didn't choose this measuring system, but you can choose to stop using it. Here's what I'd want someone to have told me 6 years ago. Your financial life was never meant to be measured against someone else's. It was given one field to grow, yours, and one set of seasons to learn from, also yours. That's the whole weight of Galatians 6:4. Not stop caring. Just stop measuring your soil by someone else's sunlight. So here's the one thing to do in the next 24 hours. Write down your own 3 numbers, not your goals. Your real current numbers. That's your field. Start there. And here's the question I want you to carry with you after this video ends. If you stop checking everyone else's harvest tomorrow, what would you finally have time to notice about your own? I'd genuinely like to know, what's one comparison trap you've struggled with recently? Be honest in the comments. Chances are someone reading it needed to know they're not the only one.